Our speaker this morning is Emma Herzog. Emma is a four-year boarding student from Coatesville, PA. She's co-president of the Ellis Theater Guild, DEI, LGBTQIA+ affinity group leader, and a head of tour. She's the proud sister of Brady Herzog and the proud roommate of Maddie Smith. Emma?
It's Monday, about 9 a.m. Far too early to be thinking critically about anything, but I'm trying my best. I actually have a lot to say about this particular topic, but I don't raise my hand. Raise your hand. You know the answer. Raise your hand. They're wrong. Raise your hand. This discussion is a huge part of your grade. Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Class is over. I've passed another class period without contributing to the conversation, answering a question, or even asking one. I haven't mentioned when this was. I mentioned that it was Monday, but I should tell you that it was 4th grade. Or maybe it was Tuesday in 8th grade. Or Friday in kindergarten. Actually, it was probably a few days ago, in 6th form year, 12th grade. I've been in school for 13 years of my 18 years alive, and somehow I still don't always get it. I'm still scared of wrong, and I'm still scared of the opinions of others at the end of the day. Let's backtrack for a minute. I'm sure everyone, or at least almost everyone in this audience, has been scared to speak up before, probably in a classroom setting. I don't claim to have the trademark on nerves in class, I promise. In fact, the people in this room that know me best are probably thinking I'm a bit full of it right now because with them I don't stop talking ever. But the truth is, I have a great deal of trouble talking in class or in any company outside of the comfort of my loved ones. I've always been quiet in situations like classrooms, and I've had a lot of trouble breaking out of that throughout high school. In today's world, comparison and social anxieties run rampant. We compare every part of ourselves to others around us and are constantly gauging the reactions of other people to the things that we do. Think about a time when you looked at a friend doing better than you and felt bad about it. Or think of a time when you said something and darted your eyes around at the dinner table to see how your friends reacted. We also try our hardest to avoid getting negative reactions from others in response to our actions. We don't want to be hated or laughed at by our peers. Think about a time when you shut in on yourself in order not to be laughed at. I assume these weren't hard to imagine, right? These are relatively universal feelings, and we all have different ways of dealing with them. In my case, the best way to avoid getting those bad reactions was to do as little as possible to draw attention. In the classroom, that meant avoiding answering questions or participating in discussion. It's better to be silent than to be wrong or laughed at. Okay, Emma, so you've told us you get anxious in class. You're not special for that one. Get in line. If I haven't lost you yet, let me tell you a story. When I came to Hill, my 3rd form year, I took a class called Introduction to Musical Theater. With the goal of making new students better performers, the class interested me greatly. It also made me incredibly nervous. I think I was more nervous the first time I had to perform in that class than I was when I was dropped off here at Hill for the first time, and I cried a lot that day. Performing is something that forces you to be vulnerable in front of other people. It's horrifying, and I love it. You look inside yourself to find a story, and you tell it to other people. As you can imagine, I spent the entire year a mess of nerves and hated performance days, which happened about once every other week. In the last individual project, endearly titled the Break Week Project, I had to sing a song that was a belting ballad. For those of you staring at me confused, that basically means loud. I didn't sing loud. I actually would have preferred if no one ever heard my voice. Obviously, this was not a great performance. I would love to tell you that in a magical movie moment, I got over my fear and a gorgeous belt danced out of my mouth. Unfortunately, the truth is that I stood in front of my class and sang very quietly, attempting the whole time to hold back my tears. At the conclusion of the song, my teacher asked me to stand at the back of the room and yell out "hi" to my friend on the other end. Simple, right? Wrong. More tears followed as I was embarrassed to have anyone even hear me. The next step, logically, was for me to stand behind a curtain so I couldn't see anyone and try to sing it that way. Through more tears, this absurd idea actually worked. Was it the voice of an angel? No, but something came out. And that something was certainly not quiet. This sparked the change in me. I started learning about my voice and learning to belt. Now, I love to sing, and I still get nervous that I sound bad, but that fear is so much smaller, and I'm learning to tell it to shut up so that I can make my noise. Once again, how does this apply to you? the Hill student sitting in your chair who would probably rather do anything other than sing on stage. The thing about singing that I had to learn was that in order to belt and make that music, you cannot be afraid of your own volume. To sing, I had to allow myself to be loud and not to care what it meant to the people around me. And that change in my performance translated to a change in my life. I learned that I needed to know how to speak up and not be afraid of my noise in social settings as well. To get the most out of your education, but also your life, you cannot be afraid to talk, and you definitely cannot be afraid of your own volume. If no one has ever said it to you directly, let me. You cannot let the opinions of others or the fear of being wrong stop you from speaking your mind. Your voice and your answer is valid. Please don't let a class pass you by without talking when you have the answer. This will translate past the classroom and past high school. When you learn how to stick by your own feelings and your own answer now, you will continue to do that later in life. More than just saying, don't be afraid, I want to tell you that there is nothing wrong with you because you're scared to speak your mind in class or elsewhere. I'm not here to punish the introvert, believe me, I've been there. Instead, I want to tell you that you aren't alone in that fear. There are people everywhere, but especially here at Hill, ready to support you in all that you do. That support extends to all aspects of your life. The next time you're sitting in class, afraid to speak up and say your answer, think of those people in your life who would be eager to hear what you have to say. I know that there are so very many. And even if you can't think of anyone, think of me, the person standing up here telling you how I've been in that exact situation so many times. I want to hear every answer, every thought, and more. I also want to tell you that it is possible to contribute to the conversation, to have faith in your answer, and to worry a bit less about what other people think of you. I've been working on it, and it's very gratifying. I have worked on finding my voice for these last few years. Some days it is still really hard, but most days I am genuinely proud of myself and proud of my participation in class. I have learned how to participate when I feel comfortable, rather than doing it at points when I don't actually have something to say. I've talked to teachers about what to do in their particular class. I have worked to build relationships with the people in my classes in order to calm some of my anxieties. I've tried my hardest to learn about myself and work very hard to speak up in class. The truth is, speaking up there has made me a more confident person in all aspects of my life. The classroom is where we learn. Let yourself learn the content and learn how to be the best you that you can be. Don't let the fear of others' opinions stop you from receiving your education and developing into the person you're meant to be. Use the support of the people around you who love you to learn about yourself and try your hardest to speak when you have something to say. Practice being loud and trusting yourself enough here so that you can take that into the world and make it better. Start raising your hand, and once you have, please don't stop. Thank you.